chairmans, the past chairmans, a very warm welcome. So for today's topic, I have been assigned the duty of the moderator. So I want to introduce myself. I am a CA Anand Pathania, qualified in 2010, and currently I am the deputy convener of the Pathankot chapter, which is also a part of NIRC team. So basically, in the absence of our program coordinator, Mr. CA Sarvindam Aneja ji, in his absentia, I would like to welcome all the audience and the participants. So before that, I would like to highlight the initiatives taken by our current chairman, CA Abhinav Agrawal ji, which is very impressing, and it's a very dynamic step and the new initiative he has taken, in which online series he has covered the 9 different streams. Today only I come to know about the importance of these 9 streams. So I just want to give a brief of that. The first one is the Samvad. Basically, it is on the how to become an IBC professional. It's a very interesting stream. Second is the Shakti. Obviously, Shakti is a woman, so it is related to empowering women in our profession. Second is the Ampurn, which is for time management. And the fourth one is the Ayushman, which is basically most important thing, which is everyone is agreed about the mental health of our professional brothers and sisters. Fifth one is the Gurukul, which is the heated topic, Gift City, the investment and the FEMA. The sixth one is the Krida Shala. Obviously, it is related to the sports. Seventh one is the Tech Desk, which is about basically today is the scenario of artificial intelligence. So obviously, it is about the all the software which is applicable and which are helpful for our practice day-to-day business. Eighth one is the Global Connect. The motto of this Global Connect is to connect the member with the international chapters of ICAI. And the last but not the least is the startup, which is the today's part of the webinar. Here we are discussing about the professional opportunities and the challenges. So this is all about the webinar initiative taken by the chairman. And it's very impressive that more than 23 online webinar have already been conducted in just a short span of time. So sir, we'll congratulate for this purpose, for this initiative. So now I would like to request our immediate past chairman, CA Gaurav Garg ji, to please brief about the today's topic and the coverage. CA Gaurav sir.
Very good afternoon, Anand Bhai. Very good afternoon to Honorable Chairman of Northern India Regional Council, C. Abhinav Agarwal ji. Speaker for today's session on startup, a well-known professional, Avilo Roy ji, who has joined us from Kolkata. I think it's pleasure to welcome you, Mr. Roy, at the platform of Northern India Regional Council. You have delivered more than 500 sessions in India and outside India at various platforms and guided a lot of entrepreneurs on startups. I think it would be pleasure to have you and to listen your wisdom and experience. I think our members will going to get enriched because of your knowledge. So once again, a very warm welcome to you at the platform of Northern India Regional Council. It's also it is good to see how the office bearers, led by our chairman, C. Abhinav Agrawal ji, are working dedicatedly day and night and taking a lot of new initiatives for member. My best compliment to Abhinav Bhai and his entire team. And we are lucky to have a chairman like him. Also, I would like to mention when we the reading room at Pathan last year, Anand Bhai helped a lot. Say that Anand Pathan to Pathankot. So his surname is more dedicated to Pathankot. He's an asset to the profession. So thank you, Anand Bhai, and for also agreeing to become moderator for today's session. It's a wonderful to have you at the platform of Northern India Regional Council. Now, without taking much of time, over to you.
Thank you, Gaurav sir. Thank you. Thank you so much. So I just want to request our chairman, CA Abhinav ji, to please have wisdom of words. Abhinav sir.
Thank you, Anand Bhai. Our very respected immediate past chairman, Gaurav Garg ji, today's program director of the today's session, our very learned speaker and young dynamic, as we have seen on the screen at a very young age, he achieved a lot in their professional as well as personal life. Mr. Avelo Roy ji, our guest speaker today's session, Anand Pathania ji, and our all esteemed audience of today's session. I want to welcome all of you in this today our second series of Startup Lab, in which we are sharing. Our speaker will share you about the challenges and opportunities for CAs in startup. कि अगर जो भी चार्टर्ड अकाउंटेंट्स हमारे कोई स्टार्टअप अपना ऑपरेट करना चाहते हैं, स्टार्ट करना चाहते हैं, उसमें क्या क्या डिफिकल्टीज, क्या क्या चैलेंजेस और क्या क्या अपॉर्चुनिटीज हैं इस टॉपिक पे, क्योंकि खुद अविलो राव जी ने एक यंग स्टेज में काफी कुछ अचीव किया, काफी स्टार्टअप बनाए, मेंटर करे, क्रिएट करे, और आज एक कहीं ना कहीं एक अच्छे लेवल पे वो सारे स्टार्टअप चल रहे हैं. इसके साथ ही मैं आपको, जैसे पठानिया जी ने हमारे सारे इनिशिएटिव के बारे में आपसे डिस्कशन ऑलरेडी कर लिया है, मैं अपकमिंग इवेंट्स में जो हमारा अभी का एक लैंडमार्क इवेंट हम करने जा रहे हैं, वो सीए डे सेलिब्रेशन है, उसके लिए कुछ हाइलाइट्स बताना चाहता हूँ कि ये हमारा 29 जून का यशोत्सव 76 ऑन द ओकेजन ऑफ 76 फाउंडेशन डे यशोत्सव और ट्रिब्यूट टू सीए प्रोफेशन, ये हम प्रोग्राम, हमारी डेट 29 जून की है, जो कि हम सेलिब्रेट कर रहे हैं इंदिरा गांधी स्टेडियम में. संजीव नेक्स्ट साइड करना. फुल डे का प्रोग्राम है 10 AM to 10 PM. बस इसमें हमारे अभी तक के जो थोड़ा प्रोग्राम हाइलाइट्स है वो मैं इस पेज पे है, जो अभी हमने एक हमारा इसको मिक्स एक कल्चरल इवेंट हम सेलिब्रेट करने की प्लानिंग में है. अभी हमने बी प्राग एक सिंगर है उनको बुक कर लिया है, एक मशहूर डॉक्टर गुलाटी सुनील ग्रोवर जी को जो कपिल शर्मा शो में आते हैं. इसके अलावा हमारी अभी विवेक बिंद्रा जी से और संदीप महेश्वरी जी से बात चल रही है, उनमें से कोई एक आएंगे, गौर गोपाल दास जी एक आएंगे, कुछ हमारे ब्यूरोक्रेट्स आएंगे, और ऐसे करके डिफरेंट डिफरेंट जो हमारे चार्टर्ड अकाउंटेंट्स है, जो डिफरेंट अपने कैरियर में कोई ना कोई उन्होंने एक अचीवमेंट अचीव करी है, उनको हम इनवाइट करेंगे. तो एक डाइवर्सिफाइड प्रोग्राम हम प्लान कर रहे हैं, जो 29 जून को फुल डे का होगा. तो मेरी आपसे मेंबर से रिक्वेस्ट है, इसके सारे फ्लायर बैनर्स वगैरह हम आपके साथ शेयर कर देंगे. ये अराउंड 5000 प्लस मेंबर्स के लिए हम अरेंजमेंट कर रहे हैं. उसे इंदिरा गांधी का मेन एरिना में ये प्रोग्राम है, और इसमें मैं आपसे चाहूंगा कि आप इस प्रोग्राम में तो आए, और जो स्पॉन्सरशिप हमारी है वो ये इस फ्लायर पे मेंशन है. तो अगर आपकी कोई क्लाइंट हमें एनआईआरसी को सपोर्ट करना चाहे, स्पॉन्सरशिप देना चाहे, और उनको एक प्लेटफॉर्म मिलेगा जहाँ पे वो in a single point of time 5000 plus members and approx 3000 plus सीए स्टूडेंट्स के साथ इंटरेक्ट करने का एक प्लेटफॉर्म है. तो ये हमारे एक बहुत बड़ा अपकमिंग इवेंट है, जिसमें हमारे सारे एनआईआरसी टीम लगी हुई है, मेरे सारे ट्रेजरर, हमारे इमीडिएट चेयरमैन, हमारे सेक्रेटरी, विकासा चेयरमैन और एनआईआरसी मेंबर सब इस प्रोग्राम को मैनेज करें. तो एक होल टीम, होल हार्टेड एफर्ट्स है जो हम इस प्रोग्राम में लगा रहे हैं. तो मेरी आप सब मेंबर्स से रिक्वेस्ट है, इसको आप भी पॉपुलराइज करें, और हम एक अभी तक का शायद सबसे बड़ा इवेंट होगा. तो मेरी आप सबसे रिक्वेस्ट है कि आप सब खुद भी आए, अपनी डेट ब्लॉक कर लें और इसमें सपोर्ट करें. थैंक यू. ओवर टू आनंद.
Thank you, Chairman sir, and thanks for arranging these type of new ideas. Actually, this is also a startup, so these are the new ideas. And without wasting much time, sir, I want to give a audience. I want to give a brief profile about our today's guest speaker, Mr. Avlo Rai ji. Actually, his profile is really very interesting, sir. I want to read each word by word, and to want to know our audience also his importance and his dynamic initiative he has taken. So, friend, Mr. Aloy Rai, he is a MD of Kolkata Ventures. So, I just go through what is Kolkata Venture. Sir, it's a startup and incubator and accelerator in India, which is offering wide range of service related to the startup, which includes mentoring, funding, and network opportunities. Sir, it's a kind of incubation and seed funding and basic startup resources they are providing. And Mr. Avlo Rai is associated with this organization more than 7 years. He's a trustee of Alfred Ford School of Business, Belgium. He's a director of ECC Engineer Private Limited, Kolkata. He's a board of advisor to MIT University Online. He's a marketing advisor of ISKCON North America and European Union. He's a former startup advisor to Prime Minister of Nepal. He's a board of advisor of Atal Incubation Center, UP, Odisha, and Karnataka. And friend, he's a guest lecturer to 8 IITs: Delhi, Bombay, Kharagpur, Bhubaneswar, Goa, Hyderabad, Patna, and Guwahati. And in addition to that, he's also a guest speaker to 3 IIMs. And he's also a guest lecturer to Illinois Institute of Technology, USA. So, sir, very impressive, sir. Heads off to you, sir. 1,800 plus startup mentees in India. This is the achievement, sir. And not only this thing, his first startup, he started at the age of 19, and he built a multi-million dollar valuation by the age of 22. So very impressive, sir. Very impressive. He has built 8 business in US and India, which is related to consumer electronics, artificial intelligence, healthcare, food science, communication, wearable technology, and graphic password applications. And last but not the least, he is a great, great grandson of Sarojini Naidu ji. She is the first female governor of India, and we are very proud of that, sir. Yeah, you are from ma'am's family, and you are continuing the legacy by tirelessly serving the Indian youth through entrepreneurship education using the startup activities and your monthly reach of 4 lakh youth over social media. You are a great, great mentor, sir. Hats off to you, sir. And friends, one more thing, he is a 4 time speaker of TEDx. I think most of the people I don't know about this TEDx or not. No, today only I just explore about the TEDx. It's basically a platform who is organizing an event all over the world, and this platform is sharing the new ideas, the new developments, which is a great thing. Basically, our speaker main motto is to take the initiative for the Indian entrepreneur for investment in India only. So, sir, very impressive, sir. Sir, before that, sir, I just want to understand the meaning because I only know the startup is a new business. But I heard the last webinar of Mr. Devan Gupta, and therefrom also I got to know the main things about the startup. Actually, startup is not only the new project, it is about the refurnishing, refabrication of the existing product also. मैं फ्रेंड्स इन लेमन लैंग्वेज आपको बताना चाहूंगा, अगर हमें किराने की शॉप पे जाके ड्राई फ्रूट्स खरीद रहे हैं या काजू बादाम खरीद रहे हैं, वो किराने की शॉप पे भी मिलता है, वो उसके बाद इंस्टाग्राम पे रिव्यू पे भी मिलता है, और वो बाद में जाके फार्मले जैसे ब्रांड के अंडर भी मिलता है. तो फार्मले कुछ नहीं करती, एग्जिस्टिंग मार्केट में अपना नाम घुसाती है. दिस इज कॉल्ड स्टार्टअप, जो मुझे समझ में आया. और ये रिसेंटली अभी मुझे पता लगा है. आइसक्रीम हैवमोर भी बेचती है. एक ओवर अ पीरियड ऑफ टाइम हैवमोर खत्म हो गया तो उसने अपना ब्रांड चेंज कर दिया. बेला बेटा जो हम इतना देखते हैं फेसबुक इंस्टाग्राम में, ये बहुत पुराना परफ्यूम है. ये इसकी एडवर्टीजमेंट की, और आई डोंट नो द एग्जैक्ट फिगर, आई एम नॉट हैविंग, बट काफी ज्यादा इन करोड़ ये टर्नओवर बहुत अच्छी बेला बेटा से कर गया है. इट्स नॉट अ न्यू थिंग, इट्स अ ओल्ड थिंग, बट मार्केटिंग चेंज कर दी, टेक्नोलॉजी चेंज कर दी. सो विद ऑल दीज वर्ड्स, अवलव सर, आई रिक्वेस्ट यू, currently 95 participants are there, they are ready to listen you, sir. Now the audience is yours, so please take the lead, sir. Thank you so much, sir. Sir, you're mute, sir.
Thank you so much, Mr. Patania. Thank you, Mr. Agarwal. Most grateful for the introduction. I will quickly get started without wasting any time. I'm understanding that this is a bunch of CAs from all over India, so it's a diverse audience. Do you prefer English or Hindi?
Sir, as per your comfort, sir.
Okay.
Get open both.
I'm comfortable in English.
Right, sir.
Anybody has issues, you can always pause and ask if I say something that is not understandable. So as Mr. Patania was explaining, I started my journey as a 19-year-old entrepreneur at Illinois of Technology, Chicago. This is where it started. The audience was Steve Jobs, Bill Gates, big CEOs of America. I was a young kid, scared to death, getting started. And, by 4 years in college at the Illinois of Technology, I developed technologies, commercialized them. And with the help of CAs and lawyers, actually, I was able to get to a point where we could build a team and get everything out there and make money. Initially, the funding came from winning competitions in US and Canada and various colleges and whatnot. Here you can see MIT. Here it's Entrepreneur Idol, like Indian Idol music के लिए होता है India में, वहाँ पर entrepreneurs के लिए होता है Entrepreneur Idol. So with this money, we were able to build this team. The chief technology officer of Motorola, the head of marketing for L'Oreal, so big people, coming together to help us build businesses. So started with this one, sold it at the age of 22, became a multi-million-dollar business. Then one after another, continued the journey, and then finally came back to India and started Kolkata Ventures. One of the byproducts that I had applied for a patent that got bought out by Motorola. That part of Motorola got bought out by Google. And today, most of you who are using Android phones are using that technology, which is a graphical password. When you log into your phone, right, using the graphical password, that's something that my intellectual property, along with a couple of other friends that we sold. So it's been a fun journey, and I've been on both sides of the table, where I've been an entrepreneur as well as I have been an investor. So honored by the California State Senate, 4 TED Talks, as you heard. And then Kolkata Ventures has been my little charity project in one sense, where East India is a little lagging behind for the rest of India, and where my goal was ki chalo yahan par kuch karte hai. And then due to social media and other things, now we are in not only East India, but in 9 countries around the world, helping incubating startups, investing, and bringing them forward. And in this journey, we have very close tie-ups with CAs and lawyers who play a very important part. And that's where I'm going to share with you that how those parts are played, and how this is an opportunity that is going to only grow as India grows. The uniqueness about Kolkata Ventures is we have entrepreneurs who have gone from $0 to $1 million. Only those entrepreneurs help our startups, not PhDs or motivational speakers or YouTubers, but actual entrepreneurs who have done the hard work. These are some of our funded startups. Some of them you have seen on Shark Tank also. This is me at Rashtrapati Bhavan, Startup India, mentoring startups that are funded by the government under the schemes, which I'll talk about shortly. This is the Prime Minister of Nepal, Prime Minister Modi. In 2017, 2018, he sent few of us entrepreneurs as a gift to Nepal to create the startup ecosystem. You can see here Ritesh Agarwal from Oyo. This is the husband of Sugar Cosmetics founder, Kaushik. So his wife is a Shark Tank shark, and others from this side. I'm a guest faculty at multiple IITs, IIMs, and 2 US universities. And I'm sharing all this with you so that the next 2 hours that I've been asked to speak, you pay a little attention. And, I'm going to give you nuggets, and then we can always have Q&A while we do that. So we're going to discuss a few things in the learning outcome. We'll talk about the metrics to predict startup success, because a lot of times as a CA, you might do discounted pricing, you might do deferral pricing because the startup has high potential but not able to afford. How do you know which startup to help? Which startup is just a time pass, right? Sometimes daddy gives a lot of money and bachcho ko bolta hai, chalo karke dikhao. And the first thing they do is a big office, nice little assistant, and then nothing happens with the actual product or services. So it's important that we identify the real startup, who are the real opportunity for you. The science of product market fit, traits to look into the funding team, what to look for in a pitch deck and a business plan so you understand, or when you help them create the pitch deck and the business plan, valuation, financials, etc., etc. Now, I know CS think of it in a different way, but it's also important that you understand the investor perspective and common mistakes. So Mr. Patania was mentioning about the startups definition. So according to the lean startup methodology, which is the science of startups from Stanford University, this is the definition of a startup. A startup is a temporary organization designed to search for a repeatable and scalable business model. Matlab, it's not a small part of a big business. It's a tool, it's a sandbox, it's an experiment. Ki, I think this might work. I build, I test, I learn, I fail, I fumble. I build, I test, I learn, I fail a little less. I build, I test, I learn, I fail a little less, I succeed a little more. And in this process, I get to figure out a repeatable and a scalable business model. It's very important to understand a repeatable and scalable, because a startup is not just another company like a restaurant, right? It can be a restaurant only if it is scalable. So according to Government of India, you're recognized as a startup if there's tech involved and innovation involved. Now, let's say you're doing something ghasa pita like a restaurant. Where is the tech? Well, there's Paid Puja, there is Zomato, There is all these technology that you're using to do customer service, to make sure orders are delivered on time, reviews are coming in, you get visibility, digital marketing, a lot of technologies there. And then you build a niche restaurant and you build 3 of them. Then you say, I'm going to franchise it out. Now that I'm a brand, now that there are 500 Google reviews, people love us. We have so many followers on social media. So that's scaling up with the help of you being a franchise, you being a brand, right? Now it's a startup because it is scalable, it is repeatable, right? Gali Vada Pav, right? 400, 500 crore business. It's just Vada Pav, but it's repeatable, scalable. Wow Momo from Kolkata, they have come out. Repeatable, scalable. So startup means that which has tech-enabled scalability embedded into it, right? Any business can be a normal business, but that business can be transformed, whether it's a sweet shop, whether it's a jewelry shop, whether it's a restaurant, whether it's manufacturing, it can be automated with technology. There are so many hydel power dams in India that if human race gets eliminated, for 6 months, those dams will work on their own without any human intervention, completely automated, right? And with more artificial intelligence, the more this is happening. Driverless cars, we have had autopilot on airplanes for 40 years now, right? So same way, less human intervention, more automation. And that's where we are going. So in this journey, humans do play a very important role, and especially humans like yourselves who are dealing with the government, who are dealing with compliance and making sure the startups do things that they're supposed to do. Now, I'm going to share something very funny with you. During the pandemic, all our startups were growing anywhere between 300 to 1700%, right? There was this 2 kids from a tier 3 city called Asansol in West Bengal. These were 18, 19-year-olds who were doing graphic design work for clients in the US using Instagram as a platform, right? They didn't have a website. They were using Instagram to market to US clients. And they had a group of 40 graphic designers. And they were making 8 to 10 lakhs a month, right? They scaled up during pandemic. Lockdown mein baitha hua hai, 2 bacche, mahine ka, they're making 8 to 10 lakhs. So very good. Everything is going good. Then it becomes 25 lakhs a month and they're doing very, very well. And then suddenly after a year and a half, they say, sir, paisa to bahut bana rahe hum, but do we need to pay taxes? Understand, they're kids. They've never been to college. High school ke baad, they've started their business. I'm like, of course you need to pay taxes. You're making so much money. They're like, kuch to kiya nahi, sir. I'm like, oh my God. I immediately call my CA, Abhishek Gupta. I don't know if Abhishek is here today. He's in Delhi. So I said, Abhishek, please help them out. There's huge penalties and this and that and this and that. So somehow Abhishek is a magician as a CA. He took them under his wings, took care of whatever legally they could do, and the penalties and everything, sab kuch mila ke, it only came down to 2.5 lakhs or 2 lakhs. And he was happy to pay that off. But the point is, this is what you're dealing with. There are many talented people who know how to build businesses, but they have never known how to deal with CAs or lawyers and things like that. So they just don't know. Paying taxes, everybody should know. But again, please understand, people come from various backgrounds, and it's a reality. Because you're not allowed to promote yourselves. So marketing जो नहीं होता है आजकल के दिन में, जो दिखता है वो बिकता है, जो नहीं दिखता है वो नहीं बिकता है. So that's where we come in as incubators, where we say you need a CA, you need a good lawyer, make sure you sign a contract, make sure you do the compliances, or else the government was going to come after you. Okay, so back to startup definition. Then come stages of funding, right? You must have heard pre-seed, seed, early stage, expansion, later, scaling up and all that. So basically, now every investor has a different way of putting it. And you must have heard 10 different definitions. You must have heard of seed stage investment being 10 crores and seed stage investment being 25 lakhs, right? And you wonder, what is seed stage? So this is what it looks like. So pre-seed is customer discovery. You build something, और आप सोच रहे हो कि customer कौन है? Is it teenagers? Is it senior citizens? Is it, divorced couples? Is it who? Who is my customer? Is it government? Is it B2G, B2B, B2C? Right? So customer discovery phase, you have something and you're trying to figure things out. Now, at this stage, funding comes to only those who have built businesses before and sold businesses. That means you are a well-known entrepreneur and you are trusted. You have done it before. You have the expertise. Investors are dying to invest. Like after Flipkart, when these Bansal brothers started Cult Fitness and other things, before they could even incorporate the company, investors were like, "Bhai, take my money, just take it." So at that stage, okay, let me see the question. Sandeep Khandelwal, we understand lots of segments of the business which need to be bundled together to build a successful business. However, it is a big headache how to sync them and assign priority order of execution. How to solve this puzzle? Sure, I'll cover it. So first of all, as I'm talking about the stages, so first comes figuring out the business model. Who is, my customer? So customer discovery. Then comes customer validation. कि मैंने जिसको सोचा था क्या वो खरीद रहा है. I'm targeting this customer. Are they engaging with my product? Often it might be seeing like I was targeting college students, but college students don't have money. Turns out 40-year-olds are better off than college students. So I'll target the 40-year-olds. So customer validation comes from the 40-year-olds, right? Like even with Kolkata Ventures, we were thinking, because I have been a college entrepreneur when I came back to India and I started this, I was targeting college students, college entrepreneurs, and I've seen like, they're not serious. Once they get a job, they leave, right? There's not that hardcore, nahi karna, karenge ya marenge, attitude is not there. Then I saw the 24 to 45-year-olds are much more serious. Then I talked to some VCs, venture capitalists and whatnot, and they said, yes, people in their late 20s, early 30s, 40s are far more successful than teen or early 20s entrepreneurs, because वो तो धक्का खाया नहीं अभी तक, वो सीख रहा है life में क्या है, what is serious. So they're not yet serious. You want success, you go for a little senior entrepreneurs. And we changed our target market, and that was a validation. Yes, people are much more serious. They take it all the way through, those who are a little elder. So customer discovery. So to answer Mr. Khandelwal's question, it's not like at every stage you have the same business segments you have to deal with. At the idea stage, you're simply figuring out business model. Key, this is a problem, this is a solution, this is how to make money, this is how to market to them, right? Then as you go up and you get customer discovery, then comes the technology element, scalability, team, right? You have the right team, right systems in place, and you can build it forward. Then you scale it up. Then comes even, more importance to CAs and lawyers and whatnot, contracts, this, that, strategic partnerships and whatnot. So at every stage, there's different priority and different aspects of the business that adds on, which initially might not be even relevant, like marketing or go-to-market strategy at a pre-seed stage is not relevant, because हमें पता ही नहीं किसको हम target करने वाले हैं, who will want my product, right? So it's important to understand the different stages and also understand a startup that prematurely tries to scale up, थोड़ा बहुत success देख लिया, and they feel अच्छा चलो अभी multiple geographies में scale करते हैं, they fall on their face, because when they're physically present, they're able to build something. But then when they're physically not present, it's a whole different ball game. And without technology, without intervention, without supervision, without CCTV, it's very hard to get people to work in a different location. And knowing that ball game before you know, you're already dead. So it's important that you build the foundation strong, start small, grow slow, then grow fast, right? Now, important thing to remember from here is strong problem statement, growing market, tech-enabled scalability. If these three things are there, it's a startup worth looking into, right? Startup worth looking into. Innovation. A lot of times you will hear IITians and, nice talented students coming up with innovation, और आपको लगेगा कि भाई इतना कुछ जानता है ये बंदा, इसमें तो होगा ही कुछ, दम तो है इसमें. Now the problem that happens is we have to first rationalize it कि दम तो है बंदे में, but क्या लोगों को ये चाहिए? Do people want this, right? So people's desirability, business viability, and technical feasibility, these three need to match. So let's understand. I'll give a real life example. IIT Delhi, a PhD from IIT Delhi, very accomplished, gold medalist. Life is, absolutely looks like a hockey stick. So आके मुझे बोला, this is 2017. This time, cryptocurrency was at its peak. Everybody was like, Bitcoins, cryptocurrency, ये वो. So he said, sir, सभी तो bitcoins mining कर रहे हैं, and it costs so much money because of the electricity and the cooling system, क्योंकि गर्म हो जाता है machine इतना mining के लिए, इतना वो CPU usage होता है. So he said, I have come up with a solution. I said, what solution? He said, we will mine cryptocurrency in space. I said, space? He said, yes. So space में sunlight is there, so solar power is right there, and space is very cold, तो heating का कोई problem ही नहीं है, और वहां से mining करके यहाँ पर भेजेगा. I'm like, okay. And he showed me the whole technology part. He said, technology तो समझ गया, but जाओगे कैसे? He said, ISRO. I said, okay, talk to ISRO. Let's see how it works. And they talked to ISRO. ISRO said no. And the business fell out straight. So initially I was impressed कि PhD है, they have the technology, they have everything. अभी कर लेते, अभी invest कर देते, अभी let's go. And but then I thought, no. Is it actually possible? They need a lot of government connects. They need a lot of government related approvals to do this. Will the government has always been anti-crypto, right? And it turns out they were turned down. And जो भी 2-3 investors आए थे उसके साथ, वो भी completely they got not bankrupt, but like uska paisa, they lost their money. So it's important to understand that it's not the high flying entrepreneurs or the great technology. It is about people's desirability, business viability, technical feasibility. Similar, I'll give a successful example. There is a guy, Sushant Patnaik in Orissa. He is coming up with battery technology that uses 11 different metals, and it's far more better than lithium ion technology. And he's already received 6 awards from Prime Minister Modi, right? He's already made battery packs, like we use to charge our cell phones. And these things that they have made can charge a cell phone 0 to 80% in less than 10 minutes. And he gave each battery pack to each of his investors. For a whole year, nobody died. No blasting, nothing. Right? It works. It was 2,500 rupees cost. They're bringing it down. Already so many patents in place and everything in place. And 100 crores plus investment has come in, or it's in the process of almost getting there. Why? Because validation is there. It's a need with EV technology, with China hogging lithium and China being the boss when it comes to battery. India is hungry for power. Right? And battery technology is the foundation of EV charging stations, electric vehicles, and everything else that we see, totos, autos, electric cars, electric, everything. And if this succeeds, then nothing like it. So already they have given the product and people are using it, right? Small group of people, but they're using it and nobody's dead yet. So opposite, great technology, huge need in the market, and proven to already be successful. More testing going on to make sure it is commercially viable. So it is important that as CAs, when we look at validation, that this is what we should look at. There are stages of a startup: ideation, prototyping, financial traction, month-on-month growth. So initially, मेरे पास idea है, हाँ तो क्या हुआ? Idea has to be brought into a prototype, whether a digital prototype or a physical prototype, ताकि दिखे कि क्या चीज है, कैसे यूज करते हैं, what do we use it for. Then next stage comes bringing in actual users, actual customers, financial traction. Then comes month-on-month growth, right? Every month your revenues are growing. So there are categories of investors. So how do CAs play a part? So a lot of this knowledge is not there with the startups. So जो आपके पास आते हैं, at least when you know it, you can help them, right? So first is the category of investors. Initially, friends, family, fools, right? The 3 Fs. People, either you own savings, या friends, या family, जो आपको प्यार करते हैं इसीलिए invest कर रहे हैं, not because they, have any idea about equity or percentage or valuation. It's crowdfunding, like Republic and Seed Fund. In India, it is not legal yet. It is RBI has been toying with this idea, but not legalized. But in America, it is, and Indian entrepreneurs can raise fund in America through these platforms. Angel investors, again, you guys know this, have to be a high net worth individual, at least $2 million net worth. Such people are investing anywhere between 5 lakhs, 25 lakhs, crore, 5 crores, in that range. Venture capitalists, Again, you must be all knowing it, right? They have a 10-year lifespan for a fund that is approved by SEBI. And they invest 95% fail, but the 5% that succeed has to make up for all the losses. So they look for anywhere between 20x to 100x return on investment. Sometimes venture capitalists are called vulture capitalists because they are so greedy, but they're not greedy. It's just the losses are so big that the profits would have to be that much higher to make up for the losses. Then comes corporate investors like Amazon, Google, LinkedIn, every big corporate, even Amity, all these other institutions that have big presence, they have venture capital funds. Jahan se they are putting in money into startups so that startups go into places where they can't go. For example, Samsung Ventures. So Samsung is heavily targeting tier 2, tier 3 cities. They want their phones to be used in vernacular language by vernacular people. So they're putting in money in startups who are popular in those spaces. So through them, they can enter that market. And through Samsung, those apps are getting pre-installed on Samsung phones when people do a OS operating system update. Right? So Samsung is giving them access and they're giving them Samsung access. So corporate investors are like both ways. You use my resources, you use my data. Just as Samsung will tell you, if there is a Zomato, there is also a Swiggy. So based on that, Zomato will give more discounts if there is Swiggy present. Versus if you have a HDFC Bank app, there's also Axis Bank app. So these kinds of data, they will provide to you. As a startup, you gain from it. And you know more about who the customers you're dealing with. As a result, you're able to cater to their needs far better, right? So corporate investors are in that way very, very useful. Now, if you're dealing with the Google, let's say, you'll get access to the artificial intelligence APIs and whatnot. So corporate investments. Okay. I am not going to share the PowerPoint, but you can take screenshots if you like, Yogendra-ji. All right. Banks and government agencies. Now, CAs come in very handy here. Because आपके पास everything is there. You know the bank, you know the digital signatures, you have all the documents, right? So when they're applying for government schemes, if as a CA firm, you don't have that, please have a couple of good people who can do paperwork and offer it as a service. Because free money at the government ministries are being wasted. Every ministry has money allocated for startups. I personally am on many of the boards where I am sitting there. There are 10 applications. All applications get selected. Kyun? Paisa to dena hai, warna next time nahi aayega. Now, they're not good startups. But because government doesn't do a good job marketing, guess what? Jo apply karta hai, unhi ko milta hai. All you got to do is make sure all the check boxes are filled, all the paperwork is done. Easy money, 5 lakhs to 25 lakhs. Pradhan Mantri Rozgar Yojana, seed fund scheme, ye scheme, that scheme, mudra loan, this, that. So many things are there. Startups are not good at talking to banks. Bank managers startups dekh ke bhaga dete. Startup ho, bhago, yes. Kaun ho tum? Again, CAs are handy. They can speak the bank manager's language. Aapka jo, you have a certain, thing that you have to do for your branch. आज ये स्टार्टअप है, कल जब फंडिंग मिलेगा इसी के अकाउंट में 10 करोड़ रहेगा, तो आप आज से रिलेशनशिप बना लो, कल आप वो फायदा आपको मिलेगा, right? They need gateways. This is a growing startup. Look at their valuation. Look at their performance over the last 3 months. अभी तो 2 लाख था, 4 लाख हो गया, 4 लाख 8 लाख हो रहा है. आप सोचो कितने दिनों में 1 करोड़ हो जाएगा. अच्छा ऐसा है, हाँ आज आप हेल्प कर दो, कल आप. So CAs have that opportunity to be the daddy, जैसे एक बेटा होता है, बाप जाके बोलते हैं, हेल्प करता है. So today parents don't help ना with startup. अभी स्टार्टअप करते हो तो आप हो गए फैमिली का काला धब्बा. क्योंकि देखो शर्मा जी का बेटा क्या कर रहा है, यूएस जा रहा है, पढ़ाई कर रहा है, ये बन रहा है, वो बन रहा है, डॉक्टर इंजीनियर, आप क्या कर रहे हो, स्टार्टअप कर रहे हो, तो फैमिली से कोई हेल्प मिलने वाला है नहीं. तो सीए वो ट्रस्टेड बंदा है जो जाके अगर ये चीज कर देता है, उसके लिए वो हर पूरा जिंदगी याद रखेगा आपको, और जो जो बिजनेस बनाएगा उसमें आप ही सीए रहोगे. You understand? So it's this relationship process. And like I said, अगर आप चाहो यू कैन पुट अ फी कि गवर्नमेंट फंड्स जो है वो तो फ्री फंड्स है, ग्रांट्स है, इतने सारे स्कीम्स है. If you get to know all the schemes and you have people who can fill out all the forms in the right possible way, right, that is a module by itself. हमारे यहाँ पर तो गुजरात से इतने कॉल आते हैं, गुजरात में दिस अ बिग बिजनेस, मेनी पीपल आर डूइंग दिस जस्ट दैट कि गवर्नमेंट स्टार्टअप इंडिया इनकॉर्पोरेशन ₹1,000, DPIIT सर्टिफिकेशन, स्टैंड अप इंडिया दिस दैट, लोन के लिए एप्लीकेशन, सिर्फ गवर्नमेंट स्कीम्स बना के लोग करोड़ों कमा रहे हैं. So CAs are the best when it comes to this. So government schemes are big and they work, but they take a lot of paperwork जो मामूली इंसान के लिए बहुत easy नहीं है. But अगर आप लोग ये करते हो as a income, that can be very, very helpful for the startup and it can be a revenue scheme for yourself. Same with bank loans, government assured schemes and other things, PGTMAC and जो भी है, they are also very, very helpful if you can help them. ज्यादातर लोग को वेंचर कैपिटल नहीं मिलता है. इट इज जनरली पर्सनल सेविंग्स, लोन्स, फैमिली फ्रेंड्स. सो इट्स इंपॉर्टेंट दैट सीएस प्ले एन इंपॉर्टेंट रोल. जैसे कि आपके बहुत सारे शायद यू माइट हैव HNI क्लाइंट्स एंड वो रियल एस्टेट में इन्वेस्ट कर रहा है, वो इन्वेस्ट कर रहा है स्टॉक मार्केट में. सो यू नो मे बी यू नॉट अ वेल्थ मैनेजर फॉर देम, बट फिर भी आप उनको सजेस्ट कर सकते हो, सर एक स्टार्टअप है, आप देख लो, आप बात कर लो, मेंटोरी कर लो. आपको भी अच्छा लगेगा कि नए बंदे फर्स्ट टाइम बिजनेस कर रहा है, आप थोड़ा हेल्प कर दो. अगर आपको अच्छा लगे तो आपको पैसा डालना है वो भी कर सकते हो एट अर्ली स्टेज एट अ गुड वैल्यूएशन, राइट. सो मेकिंग दिस कनेक्शंस मेक्स यू वैल्यूएबल एज अ सीए. क्या होता है, वर्ड स्प्रेड्स. इनके पास जाओ, इनके पास जाने से ये कनेक्ट कर देता है, ये बहुत हेल्पफुल है ये सीए वर्सेस वो सीए जो सिर्फ घंटे का पैसा लेता है और काम कर देता है और बस मुंह भी नहीं दिखाता, right, versus a CA who's a mentor who can guide you through, who can connect you with the right resources, right. बहुत सारे ऐसे चीज है जो कि सीएस नहीं करते हैं, जैसे पिच डेक बनाना, जैसे यू नो लेट्स से गेटिंग कंपनी वैल्यूएशन. You can do that with the help of a merchant banker, but then valuation that investor does, right, pitch deck review, there's a lot of these things that you can partner up with an incubator or accelerator like Kolkata Ventures, where you can just be like, hey, I'm sending you clients, there's a upselling, cross selling. So the CA services जो है वो तो है, उसके ऊपर you can always do related services क्योंकि आपका client और हमारा client एक ही है. And when you do upselling, cross selling, trust का भी एक सवाल है कि हाँ, you're sending the trusted sources and there is a revenue also that is coming from that. Now, money has many names. जैसे मैंने बोला कि there is obviously investments, equity investment, there is credit, there is all these different resources. So how do they know? Like I said, pointing them to those resources, the government funds and the credits and the loans and everything, and helping them through the process. So jab tak ye banda, the business gets to a point where it's sustainable, they remember you and you build a strong relationship with them. Why do investors say no? ये बहुत important है समझना, ताकि आप स्टार्टअप्स को भी गाइड कर सको. वीक टीम, आइडिया बहुत अच्छा है पर बंदे you know they are not very intelligent or they are not very dynamic. बहुत झगड़ा होता है टीम में, छोड़ के चला जाता है, लीडरशिप नहीं है, not a good idea. इंडस्ट्री अलाइनमेंट, इन्वेस्टर को समझ में नहीं आ रहा है आप क्या बोल रहे हो, आप आर्टिफिशियल इंटेलिजेंस के बारे में बात कर रहे हो और इन्वेस्टर है बेचारा रियल एस्टेट गाय, so he doesn't understand what you're talking about. No alignment with the industry, no barrier to entry. जॉब कर रहे हो कोई भी कर सकता है. You're selling puchka, let's say, or pani puri. In Bengal we say puchka, and you got so you're selling pani puri and a nice painted thing. ठीक है, कोई भी पेंट कर लेगा. तो barrier to entry क्या है? What are you? What is different about you, right? Stage of business. The investor might be at a later stage, you might be at an early stage, or investor might be at an early stage, you might be at a later stage, right? Too high a valuation. अभी 2 लाख का रेवेन्यू है और बोल रहा है कि 100 करोड़ का वैल्यूएशन, 100 crores valuation. Now what do? Right? Of course, doesn't match up. You don't know what your value is. Inflated valuation. Too good to be true. झूठ बोल रहा है बंदा, right? Easy to understand. He is lying. Sorry. एक भी झूठ निकल गया, proved हो गया. Don't trust him, right? Legal issues. You know, sometimes people are dealing with gambling games and things like that. So government कोई कभी भी आ सकता है. It's a Dream 11. They were doing okay, very well, but then government issued taxes and whatnot on them. This is one kind of gambling and this that. So legal issues. Lacking a scalable story. They're done very well, but they can't scale up, right? So that becomes a problem. So investors say no because of these things, because they want to grow their money. They want to have a diverse portfolio. They want to make sure that they're investing in a startup where the risk profile is less. So abhi CS ka, where do CS come in this place? Not only for startups, but for investors, angel investors जो होते हैं. बड़े VCs के पास अच्छे CS है, पर जो एंजल है, जो नया आया है, जिसके पास थोड़ा लिक्विडिटी है, अभी उसको पता नहीं कैसे स्टार्टअप्स में इन्वेस्ट करे. that's another potential customer base आप लोगों के लिए, क्योंकि उनको भी गाइड करना है कि वैल्यूएशन का कैसे समझे, टीम कैसे समझे, स्टार्टअप में दम है कि नहीं कैसे समझे, हाउ टू रीड द फाइनेंशियल प्रोजेक्शंस, हाउ टू अंडरस्टैंड द अजम्पशंस एंड बेस इट कि ये रियलिस्टिक है कि अनरियलिस्टिक है, राइट? So all of that helping an angel, a potential angel investor or an angel investor make the right choice for a startup is a very important role for a CA. And again, this is something that you can team up with a co-working space, with an incubator, with an accelerator, with a club that is a H&I club, right? With business councils, with B&I groups, ki jahan par H&Is are there who want to diversify their portfolio. They want to have different kinds of risk profile. And as a CA, you can offer them, hey, I can help you diversify not only blah, 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 but also you can try out startups. Ye naya ko startups hai, and you can help them fundraise and you can make money in the middle, right? So finders fee bolte hai jisko. Generally, it's 2 to 3% that people charge. We never charge, but there are CAs who do the connection. And if you're, somebody is getting a 1 crore funding, the CA firm will get a 3 lakhs out of it, right? So that way, what happens? You're enabling your network, you're educating, you're bringing in new clients, right? Because they will need you to guide them through, to do the compliances and everything. And then once the company is incorporated or the funding has come in, now the investor will say, हम चाहते हैं आप इसका ऑडिट करो, आप इसको क्वार्टरली जो फाइनेंशियल्स है देख के हमको बताओ, हमको रिपोर्ट्स भेजो. एंड दैट बिकम्स अ रेवेन्यू स्ट्रीम फॉर यू, वेयर क्वार्टरली बेसिस इन्वेस्टर को आप रिपोर्ट भेजते रहते हो, right? And you get paid either by the investor or by the startup or from both sides, right? And that's the revenue stream. Then startups incorporation to going all the way through TDS, GST, outsource CFO जिसको बोलते हैं. बहुत सारे startups, बहुत सारे CAs, I'm sure you do that already, कि outsource CFO का जो business model है, right? That is also very, very important, because there what's happening, a startup can't afford a CFO, can't afford to make the mistake and get penalized by the government also. तो वो क्या करे? तो वहां पर you have a recurring revenue model, you have a monthly model कि आप इतना पैसा दे दो और हम ऐसे करके make a checker account, this that, and we will make sure we take care of your basic financial needs. जब investor आने के बाद we'll take care of your extended financial needs, right? And उसके बाद as you grow as a company, there is more and more business that comes from that business. And showing one success story, you can get 10 other clients. Because अच्छा आपने उनका CA का काम किया था, अच्छा fantastic, so please talk to these other also, right? So it builds a portfolio for you. So from an investor's perspective also, there are potential customers and startups obviously who can't pay you as much, but they are future potential customers or future current customers, but future big customers, right? ऐसे हमको देखना होगा. Then what happens? You're adding value to the ecosystem. आपका जो नाम है, आपका जो branding है, वो spread करेगा. And when an investor is investing in a company, they will say, "Bhai, I will invest, but please take these CS. This is my recommendation. Ki you get your compliance done by them." And then you become a part of a trusted known in your geography. जो भी स्टेट, जो भी सिटी में आपका CA फर्म है, वहां पर आपका एक नाम बन जाता है कि ये आपका one of your expertise ये भी है. Any questions so far?
Avlo sir, we didn't receive any question, but I have two interesting queries because you have started the topic about professional opportunities. So my first concern is, sir, about this startup. How much is the size of this startup industry in today's scenario? That is the first thing I want to know. And secondly, what are the platform from where we get this thing? Because in the last seminar, I come to know there is a website like Startup India. There I have seen a number of around 1,30,000 something new startups are there. But the concern is what are the platform where we can interact with them, we can offer them our services, we can sell ourselves. So these are the two concerns which I hope all members are interested to know.
Sure. So LinkedIn is the best place to be, right? Every startup is on LinkedIn because they're either hiring or they're networking with investors. And agar aap showcase kar sakte ho, if you're able to showcase that, hey, this is what we're doing, we are, and if you share nuggets of wisdom, right? These are the mistakes startups do. Hey, this is so and so tax deadline coming in. Make sure you pay your taxes, right? And automatically, there's a trust factor that comes in. Wow, you saved me from paying a penalty, and they'll see you, and they reach out to you. Sir, can you help me with this? Right? So LinkedIn, I would say, is a single biggest platform. Then comes the local platforms, जैसे कि टाई होते हैं. BNI में इतना ज्यादा नहीं होता. BNI is all about business, but TIE, NASCOM, where the startup hubs are, startup incubators are. There are the co-working spaces where you can become a vendor. You can become an enlisted vendor, right, in co-working spaces. ताकि उनको जब लगे, they can reach out to you. There are startup cafes. There are people who are like myself, who are running incubators, and also they're influencers in the startup community. Jinko startups mante hai as a mentor, right? So reaching out to one such person can get you access to hundreds of startups. So that's a very important thing to do. And also not only India, but also the startups that are trying to come to India. Same thing applies there. Connecting with those hubs, those incubation centers, those accelerators, those co-working spaces where they want to expand internationally, and being present, being visible. So LinkedIn, using the right hashtags like venture capital, like investment, funding, Startup India, Stand Up India, Mudra, right? These are some of the hashtags you must use and post. You get the visibility of the startup ecosystem. You consistently post. LinkedIn will show your posts more and more eventually to the people who need to see it. So you have to give in order to get it. You give wisdom, you get clients.
Sir, like this Kolkata Ventures, basically here the incubation is a kind of like there is an interaction among the startup, the investor, and the consultant like us. Is it a platform like this? Because I have read many other ventures are there, not so many, but 4 5 more ventures are there, which are basically an interaction platform. So can this be a one of the place for interacting
You have to
and
be careful.
connecting?
You have to be careful because startups, आपने बोला 1 lakh startups, there are 1 lakh plus startups that are, and there is probably more because most startups don't get DPIIT certified. It's probably like 10% of them get DPIIT certified. So the number of startups you saw on the Startup India website, it's a very small fraction. Now, serious startups versus anybody who is a registered startup, there's a difference. What happens is when you come to an incubator or accelerator, you're getting access to shortlisted startups. There are Startup India awards. When you approach Startup India, jo award winners hai, there are validated startups. When you go to your story, there's a profile of startups that have received funding, startups that have good traction, right? Validated. So, आप अगर validated startups को approach करोगे, then you're getting the cream. Versus others where it's a fancy thing to say, I'm a startup entrepreneur. कोई भी website बना के Vistaprint से card बना के बोल सकता है, I'm a CEO. But that's not necessarily the defining factor. The defining factor is that here it's somebody has authorized and said, yes, we have taken you as an incubatee, or we have given you an award or something of that sort.
And sir, about the second question, how big is this industry in today's scenario?
I don't know. I don't have the data on that. I don't think the government also has the data on that. because anybody with Geo, Geo ka jo penetration hai, it is so deep. People in villages who don't even have a bank account are just starting a bank account on something like a Paytm bank or whatever, and they're starting accepting payments through UPI, through whatever means, and they're starting that thing. Koi tutorial kar raha hai, somebody is doing grocery delivery, somebody is pulling rickshaw, somebody is even begging with UPI codes, right? So innovation is everywhere. They might be copycats, that's okay, but they are doing business, right? And how do you know? You only know when they make a little bit of success and a university or an incubator or somebody kind of says, hey, these guys are amazing. How big are they? I don't know. But given my experience, I feel the 9 to 5 ka jo system tha, it is rapidly changing.
Yes.
Everybody wants to be their own boss. Everybody wants to have their own time, their own flexibility and freedom. Lot of freelancers are being created. They're not entrepreneurs, right? They're freelancers. Shikara mein baith ke, they will do their graphic design, content writing, whatnot. But then there are entrepreneurs who are building startups. That is a smaller segment because it takes a lot to have the leadership to hire people, to bring people on board. जो कि आपको देख के आपका vision fulfill करने के लिए आए. This is a very rare skill to have. So entrepreneurs are rarer, right? Good entrepreneurs are even rarer. But the places I told you are the places where you will find them. Incubators, co-working spaces, LinkedIn. This is where all of them are.
Mr. Roy, we received 2 questions from our attendees. First from Mr. Kamal Gandhi. They want to know about the government scheme for startup prompted by different ministries.
Sure. So, okay. So every ministry has it, and I can't tell you, what they are because they are all hidden in their ugly websites. So whether it's textile ministry, whether it's education ministry, whether it's tribal ministry, water ministry, agri ministry, they all have it. And many of these ministries have tie-ups with IIMs and IITs. Through whom? Like NABARD, for example.
Yes.
They have tie-ups with a lot of IITs and good universities where in that region, money will flow through that system. Or let's say SIDBI. They will have an office in every major city and there will be a regional DGM and a GM. And SIDBI will fund only manufacturing businesses, right? So like that, the government of India has SIDBI-like banks or NABARD-like funding organizations. But then every ministry has grants also to help those who want to add value to that thing. And that can be only found from their websites. And you might want to go to Internshala, hire an intern, and their job is just to go to all these sites, find those things, right? There is Margdarshan, there is so many things. Lots and lots of money is available. But somebody has to kind of put it together. If you are able to do it, please share with the rest of the CA community and me too. It'll be beneficial for a lot of us. But yeah, there's also a website. I don't know what it's called, but apparently if you type in who you are, what your profile is, it'll tell you what are the schemes that are there for you. It's from the government only. I'm forgetting the name of it. But if you Google it, you should be able to find it. But off the top, things that I know of, Mudra loan is very powerful, right? Up to 2 crores. They have, I think, grown it to 5 crores now. There is Pradhan Mantri Rozgar Yojana. There is seed fund that goes through Atal incubation centers and other accredited seed fund institutions. There is CGT MESC loan plan. There is also liquidity, like cash credits, or not, what is it called? I'm forgetting the exact name from the government, but basically companies that have 2 years of history, and if they need liquidity, the government takes the security aspect. So without any collateral, you're able to get a CC loan account with the bank, with the government bank or a private bank, you should be able to get that. So these are some of the basic ones that people are using already. But then NABARD, SIDBI, these are more specialized for certain industries. And there is also money available from US government. If you're dealing with women entrepreneurs, there is almost 35 lakhs worth of money that comes as grants. If you're dealing with tribals, there are CSR initiatives from companies like ONGC, Indian Oil, and others to grow entrepreneurship amongst the lowest rungs of society. So I'm just telling you the things that are coming to my head. And they change also very quickly. So you need to have an intern who can do the research and find out these things, because if they were easily accessible, everybody would apply. They're not easily accessible. That's where a little bit of work is required.
So yes, rightly said, sir. Mr. Kamal, I think you got your answer. There are many websites, state-wise and center-wise. NABARDs and all are related there. So you can go through the website and you can find all the scheme. And you can go to the different department also. Like I'll give you example of the horticulture. There are many plants are there where 50% subsidy is there. So you can go through all those websites. You will get the detailed schemes over there. So one more question is there from Mr. Nipun Arora. So please go through, sir, that this is regarding some ethical code versus basically, I think he wants to know about the businessman, being a businessman, we need to do this directly, the startup thing. So just answer, either we have to do or the businessman have to do the startup things.
Though Mr. Avello mentioned number of opportunities, however, we need to check if our ethical code of conduct allows such transactions, such as being vendor with co-working spaces and banks. So is it not allowed for a CA to be a preferred CA partner for a certain co-working space?
Sir, actually, as per ethics, we are a chartered accountant and we can do only the signatory thing. And in addition to that, we cannot do direct business. If we are doing the business, we cannot do the signatory thing. So I think his concern, sir, Mr. Nipun Arora, what I understood, sir, if we are serving the many different kind of industry, and from those industry and experience, we got an idea that this can be done. And you think if it is a profitable, sir, we can surrender our COP. We can go into that venture also. So that would be my submission.
Yeah, that is not my area of expertise. I don't know the code of conduct. But I can certainly tell you that at Kolkata Ventures, when we get startups who need help, we have our preferred banks, we have our preferred CAs, we have our preferred lawyers. And generally, because they trust us, they go to our trusted lawyer, CA, bank, whoever we recommend. And I think that is an industry standard. But if it is breaking a code of ethics, I have to probably revisit that. But that's my understanding. Okay.
These
Cool.
two are the questions. Sir, please continue your session.
Piyush Goyalji is saying, any suggestion for new CA coming into practice, how they can proceed in establishing career and startup clients? I think with new CA, first of all, get to know what is the mindset of a startup entrepreneur. They are also very new and confused. And as a new CA, you might be following the rules too much. At least this is my experience, right? New lawyers, new CAs, they're, my God, to the T, they'll follow the rules. As you become a more experienced CA and experienced lawyer, I have noticed that you become understanding of the fact that rules can be bent. And that's how businesses happen. We don't know illegal things, but we know that how to bend the rules to get a competitive advantage. As a startup, we need all the competitive advantage we can get. For example, there are certain things that you can ask for a permission and wait for 6 months, and by the time you get the permission, opportunity is lost. The other way of looking at it is you just go ahead and do it. There will be damages and penalties, but it is small. So 6 months later, you pay some damages, penalties, but the profit will be much more and you are okay with it. So as a CA, when you're asked the question, don't answer like a robot. Think from the business person's perspective. Give them options to choose from. Let them make a good business decision. what a chat GPT can do, we don't need that from a CA. We need the CA to tell us where is the loophole through which we can pass through. And although there are some damages and penalties, it won't hurt us in the long run. It will not pull us under the scanner. It's small thing that we can go and pass by. So as a new CA, you have to learn these things. A, what your customer as a startup needs. B, where are those loopholes that the startup needs and can benefit from. C, what are some things that you can charge them for? What are some things you should give for free to build trust? Right? Things you know that takes you 2 lines to tell. Say it. Help the person. They also appreciate now, okay, my CA actually cares. So, and understand these startups, their minds are all over the place. You have to come with a stick after them when it comes to deadlines and deliverables. Because always we as entrepreneurs think, oh, baad mein ho jayega, abhi to ye problem hai, wo problem hai, right? So it's important that you follow up, or have somebody follow up with them and make sure there are no missed deadlines, penalties, and whatnot. And especially if you're dealing with startups that are not in your state, get to know the state that they're in. For example, I'm in West Bengal, and here we pay P-tax, professional tax. Not all states require that, but we do. Now, if my CA is in some other state and doesn't know that, guess what? I'm going to get penalized, right? Which happened, by the way. So they didn't know, and our startups got penalized. And then we're like, oh, okay, sorry, in your state. So get to know, right? Just because you're a new CA is not an excuse for not knowing. So know what you need to know for a startup to thrive at the initial stage. And as you become a matured CA, you will also go through the maturity of the startup clients that you have, and you will learn more as you go along. Know when to say, I don't know, and know when to say, I know, and I'll help you with this. It's totally okay to say, I don't know. I'm not the right person. Talk to a lawyer. Okay. I hope that answers your question. I'll go back to the presentation. Okay. Why investors say no? What is investor looking for? So investors are looking for, first of all, people invest in people. They're looking for a founder and a founding team that is skilled with validated experience, right? Market validation, something should be there. Traction in terms of, people using your product, people referring your product and services to somebody else, revenue, all of that. Geographical proximity, that investor wants to be close proximate so they can come to the office, they can see how things are going, etc., etc. Traction, scalability. Are you going fast enough? Because we say burning money, it's seen as a bad thing, but it's very important to not only raise money but quickly use the money to grow the business. Burning not for the sake of burning, but burning to capture market share. So investor looks for speed. Do you have the dynamism to capture market share and grow quickly, hire quickly, scale up quickly? Go-to-market strategy. How will you acquire your first 10 customers, your first 100 customers, your first 1,000 customers? Are you going to pay all along? Or do you have jugaad? Do you have growth hack that you can capture the market? Like I was giving jugaad to all of you, right? If you need startups, here is where you go. Here is who you connect with. One person can give you 100 startups, right? Validated startups. So go-to-market strategy, timeline for execution, speed, use of funds. How are you going to use the money? I'm going to get there. I'm going to show you what use of funds looks like, right? And exit strategy. When will I get my return on investment? Nobody talks about this. But an investor doesn't put in money to charity, na? They want the money back. What are some ways you get to exit? Either a bigger investor buys you out. अच्छा आपने 1 crore invest किया था, I will invest 25 crores and 3 crores will go to you. I want to buy out your shares. So you got a 3 crores, 3x return on investment. You're happy. The 25 crores guy is looking at the IPO. Fine, let him be. You're out of the way. So exit can be like that. An investor buys you out, or a company buys the company out, or there's a IPO. or there is a merger. So any possible way, your share gets monetized and you make money, right? That's called the exit. And it is important to show some exits in your area, in your industry. If you got nothing out of it, an investor is looking for a credible team capable of execution. If you have the credible team capable of execution, half the work is done. Even if the idea is bad, it will work out because the team will figure out how to get to a good idea. They will dynamically build, test, learn, and figure things out. It is really important to understand this aspect of Bhagavad Gita, the mind. From the investor's perspective and the startup's perspective, you as a CA, both are your clients, right? You will see people make emotional decisions. Krishna is saying, one who has conquered his mind, the mind is the best of friends, but one who's failed to do so, his mind will remain the greatest enemy. So don't get emotional. Ye banda IIT se hai, must be good. No. What is the data saying? What's the traction so far? What's the market research? What's the team? What have they done without money? What can they do with money? Right? All of this is important. Sometimes entrepreneurs can be very, very charismatic. And I have seen people melt in front of them, especially if they're women. So it's important that as investors, as entrepreneurs, both sides, the mind has to be, and as a CA, it's your role to make sure you keep giving good advice, right? Again, that's one of the roles of a CA, is to make sure that the client is making good decision in terms of investment. So from a startup perspective, getting the right investor, Varna, if you get the wrong investor, it's like a bad marriage. Oh my God, for the next 3 to 5 years, you're stuck with this person who's going to make your life miserable, right? It's this. So it's important that startups getting the right investor on board, and the investor is investing in the right startup who can actually grow their money. And that's where the CS role is. It's a very crucial role to make sure you give what, not only what you know from the numbers point of view, but also from the psychophysical perspective. Because that's where the trust of a CA comes in. The team. This is basically the team. I'm not getting into too much details. It's not much to do. Now, most startups, many investors also don't know these terms. But I'm guessing most CAs would. And if you don't, you can take a screenshot of the screen, right? So these are the metrics based on which we decide if a startup isme dum hai ki nahi hai. The data-backed decision making I was talking about are these things. And it's important that we look at this data and we verify this data, make sure they're real data. And based on that, we go forward with the startup. How much money to raise? You will get this question from your startup. And you know how they're doing. So first thing is set a goal. And figure out what's the price of your product, how many do you need to sell in order to get to that goal? Or if it is a service, how much subscription you need to spend on a monthly basis to get to this goal? What I'm saying in short is break it down. Help them figure out the business model. And based on that, they should be going for fundraising. Often I hear, how much money you want to raise? 3 to 5 crores. Bhai, between 3 crores and 5 crores, there's 2 crores. If that is nothing to you, then you don't value money. When you're looking for investors, you need to know exactly what you need with some buffer, of course. And that's where the CA comes in, where the CA creates a projection that this is the money that will come in. CA creates the financial projection over 18 months or over 12 months. This is what we are going to do with this money. Every quarter by quarter, this is the growth. This is when you hire new people. This is when you go to new geography. This is what you do. Technology is available at this point, etc., etc. And this will yield this much revenue, right? And with this revenue, now the investor sees, aha, if I put in 1 crore, they're able to make a 3 crores revenue in the next 18 months. And this is the assumption. This all makes sense. The projection makes sense. Let me ask a few questions to see if the entrepreneurs actually understand it. So CA is not only making the projection, CA has to work hand in hand with the entrepreneur, because the entrepreneur has the assumptions. The CA has to put that in Excel. So entrepreneur and CA both have to agree on the assumptions. If the entrepreneur says, no, I'm not going to hire more than 2 salespeople, and the CA has already put in salaries for 10 salespeople, it won't work. So it's important both have to work hand in hand, both have to agree, and that's how the projection is created. And then a good investor will look at that and ask questions to the entrepreneur, not the CA, but to the entrepreneur. Do you understand this? Do you understand what are your assumptions are? Based on that, when will you fumble? When will you fall? When will you do well? What are things that could go wrong? How delayed can this be? Etc. 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 Right? So very, very crucial aspect of the business is how much money to raise, who to raise it from, and if we raise it, how will we use it, over what period of time, and what will that yield to? What kind of revenue will that yield to? Very, very important to understand the business model. Now, this is what a good industry standard use of funds looks like. At the ideation stage, of course, there is no marketing because there is no product. So 70% of your resources, time, energy, money goes into development of physical or digital product, R&D, EAO. 30% in operations. That means paying the CA, electricity bill, office rent, etc. Startup phase, now you have come. You have something. You are slowly growing month on month. So 50% resources go to development, 40% goes into marketing, 10% in operations. Scale up phase, 20% in development. You already have your product. You're scaling up. So marketing, capturing market share, very important. That's the efficient business. Your majority of your money is going to marketing, 10% operations. Not a fancy office, not show off, not business class tickets. Just, making sure that company grows. Now, this is what scale up stage looks like. You will be dealing with a lot of this red zone. यहाँ पर motivation चला जाता है startup का. क्या हो रहा है sir? But as long as clients are coming, revenue is growing. They might be in losses, but clients are coming, referrals are happening. This is on this trajectory. There will be a critical mass where beyond which they will be profitable. Or if they don't want to be profitable, then the angle of that line will just keep shifting, like a lot of the Zomatos and Paytms of the world, where they keep putting in money, keep raising money, keep growing, keep capturing market share, and keep, going through until they go to IPO and whatnot. But the good thing is they're growing month on month. So if they were to stop advertising, stop capturing market share, will they be profitable? The answer should be yes. So this is the scale up phase. Pitch deck and business plan. Again, this is where a partnership works very well between a CF firm and an incubator, where you have these guys, you've brought them all the way through, you did the financial projection. For the rest of the slides, you partner up with a company like Kolkata Ventures or whichever, incubator accelerator. They take care of all of this. Or if they have a elevated pitch, or they have some kind of pitch deck, then they can be reviewed and they can be given feedback to make them better. Generally, just like a resume, CV, a pitch deck also has basic elements. This generally fits into anywhere between 10 to 20 slides. And then if the investor is very happy, they will ask for a business plan, which will be nothing more than 25 pages. If you're a very big company making a lot of money, then it might be 50 pages, but 25 to 50 pages, basically. Valuation. Now, I know all of you are CAs and you have your ways of doing valuation. But generally, as investor, when we hear a pitch, this is what we look at: tangible assets, intangible assets, cash flow. Generally, a digital startup won't have any tangible assets beyond the laptop. A physical startup like a manufacturer, food processing, restaurant will have a lot of tangible assets. Intangible assets: Facebook followers, Instagram followers, patents, trademarks, etc. And then cash flow. Cash flow is the biggest thing. If you have cash flow, 5 to 10x of the cash flow is generally the ballpark valuation that an investor comes to in their mind. Then when you're signing the shareholders agreement, you will put in this much valuation. They will say that much valuation. You tug of war, and you come to a point where, okay, both parties agree and you go ahead with it. But generally speaking, the cash flow multiplied by 5, 7, or 10 plus intangible assets, your YouTube followers, Facebook followers, Instagram followers, patents, trademarks, goodwill, blah, 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 your website traffic every month, etc. All of this put together becomes the intangible assets. You put it together and you're like, I said 5 crores, no, 4.5 crores, and you come to your valuations. Generally, it's that. It's not a merchant banker says it and that's the Bhagavad Gita. No, nobody, investors at least, don't look at it that way. It is more, there is dumb money. Please understand, dumb money is more accessible than smart money. So there are smart money means investors who are investors professionally. And dumb money is those who are HNIs doing their own stuff by the way they're investing. For example, somebody who works for a Reliance, let's say, making a few crores a year, right? They might put in 50 lakhs in a startup. So they are not as prudent in terms of what all things, let's say, I would ask a startup. So for them, they will look at the merchant banker's valuation and probably they will go with that valuation because they don't know any better. But if you go to professional investors, they will have their own valuation model, and based on that, they will value the company in that ballpark, no matter what the CA says. So be realistic as a CA. I have had a CA once give a valuation of 120 crores for a company that has not even launched. And he gave me all the possible formulas God can offer. I was like, please stop talking. Be a human being. You sound like a robot. Think, this startup has not launched. First time entrepreneurs. Yes, they're MBA from big colleges. That doesn't mean anything. You can't give a 120 crore valuation to a startup that has not launched yet. Right? So it's important that you think like a human, understand the investor's perspective, and be realistic. Okay. So generally, a good startup follows this model. Start with zero money because all the tools are available for free. Grow with customers' money, show some traction, and scale up with investors' money. And at the zero money phase, they don't need you. But the moment they open their bank account, they need to incorporate their startup. And that's there onwards, they need a CA. And that's where you come in. Now, again, many CAs use the ROC as a way to find out who are the new startups incorporated. I know, I see it all the time when a new company gets incorporated. Hundreds of CAs WhatsApp them, message them, with all the different things they can offer. So this is where the CA part begins. And this is where the CAs also make money, right? You help a startup grow. And when they scale up, that's when you're minting money from them because they're also making money. They're getting investment. They can afford your services and they're taking larger, services from you. So I'll pause here and see if there is anything from your side. Any questions that might be there? This is the number of my executive assistant. So if you need to get in touch with me, this is the best way to get in touch, or just connect with me on LinkedIn and connect with me and I'll be happy to help any way I can. But for now, you can ask live questions. I have kept half an hour for Q&A session.
So, Mr. Roy, there is one question from Mr. Ashok Jain. He's asking for suggestion on some business and service sector for exploring as a startup. So basically, I think his question is about to starting a new startup as himself.
I understand. I don't know you, sir. So generally, I give the answer based on the person's proclivity, their skill level, their age, their network, and whatnot. But since I don't know you, I'm going to give a very generic answer. In India, right now, with a lot of automation, not right now, if we look tomorrow, We should build a startup thinking of 3 years from now. 3 years from now, if you look at it, we know who the prime minister would be. We know what some of the policies would be. So those are some known factors. So digital would be very strong. With digital being strong, there are a lot of things that would go wrong. And that's where we come in as entrepreneurs to fix those and make money. Cybersecurity, big problem. Mental health issues, people are lonely. Big issue, right? You can solve problems in that space through dating, through counseling, through whatever apps or services that you want to offer. Entertainment, right? Today, on average, a person spends 6 to 7 hours on Instagram Reels, YouTube Shorts, after a 10-hour job, right? So how is that happening? Because people are spending money, spending time on entertainment. Then comes the pet market. The more lonely people are, the more they are not marrying, not having kids, having pets. The pet market is growing hugely, just like US and India also, leaps and bounds. Dog spa, dog hotel, cat this, dog food, cat food, toys, everything with pets. Huge success, right? You name it in terms of video games, anything that causes addiction. Huge opportunity there. Not saying addiction is a good thing, but gaming industry is massively growing. So again, I don't know you. Medical industry, gaming industry, fintech industry. There is, like I said, mental health, cybersecurity. All of these are future problems with cars talking to cars, with connectivity with driverless cars. Although Nitin Gadkari has said no, driverless cars won't happen in India. Still, you will see driverless trucks. You will see a lot of these things coming to India sooner than later. And in that situation, today, to kidnap somebody, you have to physically go. Tomorrow, you don't have to worry about it. You just hack the car. Smart car got hacked. Person got kidnapped. Back in the days, people used to go to the bank to rob the bank. Today, they don't have to go to the bank to rob the bank. They just rob the bank from a hotel room, internet connection, right? Cybersecurity. So these are things of the future. Know what are the problems of tomorrow. Based on that, create a solution to that problem. And you will have a market that is willing to pay for it.
So, Mr. Roy, there is one more question from Sandeep Khandelwal. So, before we take, there is a request from Mr. Nipun Arora about the startup pitch deck. We want to just, I think, take the screenshot of that.
Okay, give me a second.
So, Mr. Khandelwal, he's asking about the cost of hiring a person who will help in managing a social profile and expanding brand awareness. So, I think, sir, you are asking, Mr. Khandelwal, if you are listening to me, I think your question is about client perspective or the professional perspective. Achha, you have wrote one more thing. Are there a business writers in the market who can give a fair idea about the cost which one startup needs to incur to get growth? Center marketing or some you need to. Please take this question, sir, of Mr. Sandeep Khandelwal. I think he is brief in the second point.
Okay, are there business advisors in the market who can give a fair idea about the cost which one startup needs to incur to get growth? Yes, we do that. You can get in touch with us. We have, so as Kolkata Ventures, as an incubator, we have financial, like CAs who are on a list, lawyers. We also have digital marketing, which is in-house, and technology development like websites, apps, and things like that. That also, for a very, very moderate price, we offer that. So certainly we can help with that as well, Mr. Khandelwal. You can just get in touch with me on LinkedIn or the phone number I shared, and happy to help you with that. From the perspective of startup, I'm also doing this for my own startup. Sure.
So basically, he's into startup things, so he want to ask this thing. So your this concept of Kolkata Venture is basically the one of the platform or organization to protect for this thing, or you have other organization also for this.
No, we do it ourselves. So marketing is one of my personal strengths. As I've built these businesses, branding and marketing has been my strength. So this is one thing we personally do for the startups, getting them the initial customers, getting them the visibility, getting them out there on social media, downloads, this, that, whatever they need in terms of technology also, the apps, the website, because they get cheated a lot. When you're a first timer, you go to some place, they're like, अच्छा इसको कुछ नहीं पता है, चलो लूट लेते हैं. And that has happened many times. And that's when I decided, nahi, we will offer this as a service so that they at least get everything in one place. So that's why I'm offering this.
Okay. So I just want to ask one more question about you are interacting with the people all over the world. So regarding our role you suggested, and we also know that our role is basically about the financial feasibility of the startup, the profitability, based on the what information we are receiving about the business. Actually, we are not doing the business. We are helping them to find out the true profitability, whether it is there, it is feasible or not. So, what is your opinion about the or your experience about the international people who want to take the help of the profession like us in India, and how they are eager? Because I attended many this meet the summit, and we heard that there is a demand of professionals, especially the chartered financial professionals all over the world. So is it true? And to some extent, so please share your experience about that.
Today morning, I returned from Abu Dhabi. And so we had an event 2 nights ago. And for the first time, people are getting used to this. Is the first year they're going to pay corporate taxes in the UAE, right? And it's a great opportunity for CAs like us to have them also as clients, right? Because we have done this for years and years and years. For them, it's a new concept, a new idea, right? So all these businesses that are making huge amounts of money are going to pay for the first time their corporate taxes. And to think about it, the laws are not very different. The percentage is a little different. You just need a little bit of credibility in the government of India, government of UAE, close friends. So this is just UAE. If you look at US, if you look at Canada, okay, things are a little bit more different and a little bit more qualification is required. But having said that, the accounting part, a lot of it, those guys, those CAs only like to outsource it to India. Because the brains are here and it's cheaper.
Yes.
And they charge by the hour. And here it's getting done. And their hourly rate are much higher than ours. So as a result, it's an efficient way of working with them. And it's also time-wise. If you think about US, UK, when they're sleeping, we're awake. When we're sleeping, they're awake. So they go to bed, they wake up, all the work is done. Right? So 24 hours work is getting done. And that's a great opportunity. So different countries, there are different advantages. And India, being India at this point, under the Prime Minister that we have, it's a very proud state to be. I was recently in Jakarta, Indonesia Economic Forum. I have been to these forums before also, but today they ask, what is India's perspective? No one cared this before. So given that we are looked up to, that India has made it, and their people must be good, that's why they're making it. We should monetize on that. And I will tell you not to monetize on US, Canada, because already that is saturated. There are so many untapped territories like South Africa, Kenya, growing markets where they worship India. They watch Bollywood. And CAs from here are be considered expert ka expert. And because they have the money and they're willing to spend it. So point is, we can have multiple global exposure with the expertise that already we have, just the nuances of those countries, and take in clients virtually and increase our bottom line. Does that answer your question?
Yeah. Actually, I just want to reconfirm that because I'm listening from everywhere. that there is a huge demand, here is a huge demand. So where is that demand, whether it is true or not? Because before doing
Absolutely.
any experiment, we must know about this thing. Sir, we have one more question in a chat
I'll
box.
just 1 second. This event that I'm talking about, the CA was sitting next to me, and I asked him, "So how are you doing? How long have you been in UAE?" Only 3 years, and he already has more than 60 clients who are making more than 250 crores. He's a new guy. You guys are seniors, experts. He is just a new person who just shifted to Abu Dhabi and Dubai, and already has so many clients who are making hundreds of crores. And for the first time, those guys are paying taxes, and he's minting money. And it is still early enough that somebody can take that market share and make it big.
All right. Sir, there is a question in the chat box from Mr. Anil Kumar. So please have a look, sir. This is about some initial capital and some startup losing
Based
control.
on small initial capital, as at when venture capitalists introduce money, the co-founders will land up diluting their shareholding, and thus this mean co-founder becomes minority shareholders and work and lose control of the startup. See, this losing control and battle and all of that, it's something we have to understand in a kind of a political way and philosophical way. Owning 1% of a 100 crore company is better than owning 100% of a 5 lakh company, right? So yes, as you dilute, you bring in investors, the value goes up. Please understand, the post-money valuation goes up. So you might be owning less part of the company, and I will tell you, for the longest time, you will still be 51%. Till your A round, B round also, probably you will be 51%. And then you will start becoming a minority shareholder. But you will never lose control. Why? If you are valuable to the company, if you're able to add value to the company, you will be able to continue in your role as big, even as a minority shareholder, because you are single-handedly owning X% versus there's so many investors who are owning so much percent. So you need to know how to get the board on board with you. You need to be friends with people. You have to play politics, and power politics is very important to make sure there is control. It's not always the equity. It's also because, for example, Steve Jobs was kicked out of his own company. But if you see Ritesh Agarwal, their Oyo's investors diluted themselves to give him more equity because he was feeling demotivated. He was like, I'm feeling demotivated. I have so less shares now after raising thousands of crores. They said, fine, we'll dilute ourselves and give you, because we need you, because only you know how to run Oyo the way you do. So be valuable. That's the best way to stay in power, stay in control. It's not necessarily the equity amount that 49% ho gaya, now you lost control. No. Okay, anything else?
Thank you, sir. So basically, friends, this is all about the startup and about the professional opportunities, as rightly said by our guest speaker, Mr. Avlav Rai ji. We are a financial partner in terms of the compliance part. And see, when the businessman is coming to us, we are projecting that thing in a true sense. We should project that thing in a true sense. Yes, we are doing in a true sense. So that is the main role, until unless otherwise, without that projection, the startup will crash. So that is the main thing. And about the opportunities all over the world. So now today's scenario is of artificial intelligence. And based on that, as rightly said by the speaker, that there is a virtual CFO, virtual consultancy is there, and world there is a demand all over the world from the regarding the financial consultant, the Chartered Accountant of India. So we need to go through. Nobody's coming to you. You have to explore the different platform. You have to go through the different websites, the different initiatives taken by the Indian government inside and outside the India. So from that we get the connects. So based on that, sir, very deliberately explained by you, and we really enjoyed your this presentation. Now I request now Mr. Dinesh Sharma is there, a member of NIRC, to say few words before the vote of thanks, sir.
पठानिया साहब, पहले तो सही बताऊं, आई एम वेरी मच श्योर जिस टॉपिक पे ये आज का प्रोग्राम हुआ, दैट वाज ऑसम, आई मिस दैट. मैं उसको लगता है हमारे जो ऑफिशियल साइट पे उस पर जाके देख पाऊंगा. एंड द वे यू हैव कंक्लूडेड द थिंग, तो उससे मेरे को समझ आ पा रहा है जो सेशन था उसकी ग्रेविटी क्या क्या थी, उसका नॉलेज बेस क्या था और मेंबर्स ने उसमें से क्या गेन किया होगा। तो रॉय साहब, जो मैं कह के चल सकता हूँ, पठानिया साहब ने बहुत अच्छे वे से कंक्लूड किया है। एंड जिसने भी नहीं देखा होगा, हम जो साइट पे डालेंगे तो मेंबर्स इससे नॉलेज ले सकेंगे। एंड विद दीज वर्ड्स, ओवर टू यू पठानिया जी। रियली नाइस, nice to see you here on this webinar also.
Thank you, Dinesh sir. Basically, our guest speaker is very innovative and very, more than 4,000 people, 4 lakh people are following him.
That's
So
great.
he's a great personality. So I'm privileged to being the moderator of his seminar. So
Wonderful.
thank
Roy
you,
sir,
Roy.
at least I am able to say you hello also, because आपके इतने followers हैं, I am lucky that I have entered at the right time, before the webinar concludes. Thank you, Pathania ji.
Right, sir. So now I request our Vice Chairperson of NIRC of ICI, CA Shalini Gupta ji, to say a vote of thanks. Please, Shalini ma'am.
Thank you, Anandji. And whatever I have listened, I joined little later, but it was really a wonderful program. And Avalo sir, we are really thankful. We are fortunate that we have had a chance to listen from you. And I'm sure all our audience have learned a lot. मतलब ये ऐसा टॉपिक है जिसपे हम जितना भी इसको पढ़ लें या जितना भी इसको सीख लें उतना कम है. So thanks a lot for our acceding to our request to deliberate to our members, and thank you Anand ji for coordinating our event as a moderator. I have listened to you. आपने बहुत अच्छे से क्वेश्चन आंसर राउंड को टेक अप किया, बहुत अच्छे से आपने कंक्लूड किया प्रोग्राम को, बहुत अच्छे से मेंबर्स को गाइड भी किया. So thank you everyone. Thanks a lot. We have our chairman Abhinav ji. I request Abhinav ji to share few words.
Thank you, Shalini ji, and really thank you very so much to Mr. Avilo Rai sir. It was really a great session. First time ऐसा हुआ है कि मेरी मीटिंग थी, लेकिन उसके बाद ही मैंने 15-15 मिनट आपको ऑन करके सुनना चाहा और कोशिश करी. काफी मैंने आपका सेशन अटेंड करा है. जो आपने पॉइंट्स इतने इम्पोर्टेंटली आपने बताया ना, इन्वेस्टर के लिए भी क्या क्या चीजें इम्पोर्टेंटली एक इन्वेस्टमेंट करते समय भी एक कंपनी में ध्यान रखनी चाहिए. अपने बिजनेस के लेके अगर एक झूठ भी पकड़ा जाता है तो इसका मतलब उसी समय उसको ट्रैश कर दो और वो आगे प्रोजेक्ट पे मतलब काम नहीं करो. लेकिन बहुत वंडरफुल सेशन सर. मैं रिक्वेस्ट भी करूंगा कि इन अवर अपकमिंग वन ऑफ द प्रोग्राम आपका एक बार शेड्यूल चेक करके आप अगर फिजिकली भी हमारे मेंबर्स को आप प्रेजेंट करें सर एक सेशन ना, तो मैं उसके लिए भी सर आपसे बात करूंगा. एंड वेरी वंडरफुल मॉडरेट बाय Anand Pathania ji also. Thank you. My team member Dinesh Sharma is also present here. I can acknowledge his presence. And
Thank you, Chairman, sir.
sir, I want to present you a token of appreciation in the form of a certificate. So Sanjeev, please show the certificate of appreciation, sir. This I will courier to your address, Avilo sir. And one more memento, we also present you from our NIRC team, and will courier you both the things at your address. So please share your official address. So thank you so much sir for your kind presence.
Hello, sir, you're on mute. Yes, sir.
Oh, I said thank you very much for inviting me. It's absolutely an honor to have the privilege to speak with all of you. I'm glad it was beneficial. Thank you very, very much. I would love to add value in the future also, however I can. Thank you.
Thanks.
Thank you, Chairman sir. Thank you, the guest speaker. Now I thanks all the audience who participated. More than 100 plus teams members are there. So now over to the NIRC team for the final closure. Sandeep ji.
थैंक यू आनंद जी. हमारा रेगुलर ये सीरीज चलती रहती है. जो मेंबर्स अभी ज्वाइंट हैं तो आपने जरूर आगे भी हमारे प्रोग्राम्स ज्वाइन करें. डिफरेंट सीरीज हैं हमारी, तो डू टेक बेनिफिट ऑफ देम. हम सब आपके लिए मेंबर्स के लिए कोशिश करते हैं.
Ma'am, you are on mute. Ma'am, please unmute yourself. Sanjeev ji.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Sir,
Ma'am.
this certificate for you kindly
Thank you.
accept
Thank you.
it, sir. Yes, sir.
Thank you, sir. Thanks.
So thank you all. Now we are ending up here. Thanks to all. Thanks to the audience. Thank you, sir. Thank you, Roy, sir. Definitely,
Thank
I'll
you,
follow you.